Greetings and salutations. That is my go-to. We're gonna have a wonderful night tonight. We have amazing guests and guest hosts and just people in general. We have the Honorable Minister Peter McClocken.
Peace.
I don't remember your titles, so I'm going to stop with the title thing. So we have the wonderful, the illustrious
Hey.
Yeah.
Shayna Hayden.
Amen.
And I'm going to screw up your last name, so I'm just going to call you by what I know you. The record sale, you know what? let me stop with all these building you guys up, because like, I'm not great at it. But guess what?
Recording artist.
Recording artiste. Artiste.
Yeah.
Travel the nations.
Oh yes.
Even when him don't know the language. And still bring everybody together at the end of the day.
All
The
right.
wonderful Korik.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Something. And then we have Brother Matthew. You know what? Matthew. And tonight we it's the topic tonight is gonna be about dealing with passions. It's like things that cause you to say, you know what, I'm not gonna stick to the norm. I'm just gonna go out there. I'm just gonna let go of that. You know when people have that they hold on to a plan B and say, you know what, but he's like, no, you know what, I'm just gonna give my everything. I'm just gonna pursue it because I know that I'm going to do great at it, right?
Okay.
So yeah, the topic tonight is, what was the inspiration behind pursuing music as a career instead of following the norm?
Are you just going to jump right into it like that?
But of course.
All right, well, this is preparing to be a very short conversation.
Oh Lord.
You'll be
Not
surprised.
necessarily.
I don't know that I ever chose music. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be cliche with saying music chose me, but I don't know that anything else could be more true. You know what I mean? I was playing like in church since I was like 8 years old, and amazing everybody. Not trying to sound like, blowing my own horn or anything, but everybody was amazed at the fact that, this 8-year-old, 9-year-old is in church playing during service, playing for the Sunday school choir, like really doing it, not sounding like a beginner or anything. It was really something that, people talked about. And I guess, we all love accolades and praises, and we love when people talk good about us. So that kind of played a part in me, developing an interest in getting better at it. And that just followed me all through life. I mean, I was playing in devotions at school because people knew of the talent and decided to, make sure it was in use. That followed me all the way to high school. Same thing kept happening. Our teachers we had teachers that were friends of our parents. And so, of course, that meant, oh, Sister Carmen's son can play. Make him come and play. That went all the way up to Money College. I was playing in devotion every Monday, every Friday, and everybody knew about this kid who could play. And for some reason, it seemed like a rare thing. People my age, for some reason, I didn't have many musician friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
It was a special kind of thing. It wasn't common. And then shortly after I entered Money College, I decided I wanted to just play music. I had a friend who just disappeared for a long time and came back to visit my mom at one point, and he was just fooling around with my keyboard. And I was like, wow, how is it that you managed to play like that? And he was like, oh, I learned all of this at Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, Jamaica School of Music.
All right.
And I'm like, hey,
The posh.
I am going to Jamaica School of Music.
Yes.
So I studied Caribbean, Latin American, and jazz. Majored in jazz piano, minored in classical piano and voice, and the rest is history. At a point I had to pay my own way through school, and I had a skill, so it turned into what I ended up doing with my life. I've been a musician ever since. Never had a 9 to 5. That's been my life.
That's blessed. That's blessed. That's blessed. It's like
So we don't know.
no.
No, we just
Oh,
getting
we're
started.
just getting started. It's like you just giving us more. You feeling the questions,
Yeah.
and it's like one thing. What's the difference between Latin and other classic piano?
Classical piano.
Yeah.
What's the difference between classical piano and Latin music?
No, it's not Latin music, but you say you were trained in classical, and you also were trained in Latin jazz, I think it was.
Yeah, Caribbean, Latin American, and Jazz Studies was the name of the course I did. So of course Caribbean music, Caribbean, Latin American, and Jazz Studies. So of course we deal with reggae music, soca, mento, zouk, all the Caribbean music flavors, and Latin American. Of course, that would take care of everything Latin. You know, the Afro-Cuban, Afro-Caribbean type beats. You know, all the things that we find Latin people like. That's the kind of music. Of course, jazz in itself was a whole other world, more of an American art form, but it in itself was a whole other world. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you might have to ask for the question again.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like, all right. So understand that from 8, you're like, all right, I want to try that.
Yeah.
And then it's like from then on, mother like, the boy can play it. So any opportunity to show up and say, I have a child with talent, I'm going to show it. Your mom pushed you along, and it's like at times we can't feel like you're like, I don't want to play, but
No, well, that never reached me, you know.
that never reached
No,
you.
the only time.
The thing about it is, you know what? I can talk because I know, because he happens to be my brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, what a shocker!
Listen, not everybody knows that he's my brother. So,
Okay.
yeah, from a
Yeah,
very
so-
young age, I remember my older sister, Michelle, she went away, came to the States, and then she came back with a very small Casio, a little keyboard,
yeah.
like a teeny thing. Back then it looked huge, but it was so small. And she brought it back, I think she brought it for herself, because she was, messing around with some new hobby. And he got a hold of it. Corey got a hold of it and just start playing just like that. Just playing things by ear.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And everybody was like, really? Like, where did that come from, It was so natural, very raw talent.
Let me just interrupt you real quick. Every time I tell that story, which is probably why I didn't say it this time, every time I tell that story, I hear myself tell it and it just doesn't sound like the truth.
Yeah.
You know, it just sounds too amazing. Like you just started playing just like that.
Well, that's
If it
exactly how
didn't
it
happen
went.
to me,
Yeah.
I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's just a natural gift, It's something that plays in you. That's what you're
Like
born
he
to
said,
be.
it chose him.
Nobody force you to do it. It's something that chose you. So that's why you're so good about it, good in it.
Yeah.
And maybe don't turn from it neither, because you're not
Of
gonna find yourself comfortable in
Anything
maybe
else.
doing it.
Well, that's
nothing
why I've
else.
never had a 9 to 5. It's always
Yeah.
been music. But you were saying something. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. And that's exactly how it went. He was just playing and fascinated by the sounds it made and all the, it come with its own little demos and stuff. And he would start playing things with the demo and just doing his thing. And he knew how to play way before school, learning music in school. I remember when he was about 12, 13, because of that raw talent, mommy decided that, let me send him to music school to learn how to, it wasn't to learn how to play at all, because he could play. It was really
To know
amazing,
business and
yeah.
more the
Just to learn how to
script.
read the music was what she wanted him, and to be more refined, somebody professional to guide him. And so that did not work out. That never worked out at all, because this lady that he used to go to, I remember her name, but I'm not going to call it. Maybe God rest her soul. I don't even know if she's still alive.
yeah.
Sister Margaret. Let's call her Sister Margaret.
Sister P. Sister somebody.
Listen,
But
man, her
she-
name was Miss Mattis. God rest her soul.
Miss Mattis, Lord Jesus, and Miss Corey used to come home mad. Miss Mattis take a rule and slap him on him finger when him not do the keys right and, you know, not playing the right notes and whatever. And so he was so frustrated that he was just like, listen, I'm done with this, mommy, me now go back. Not going back there. And he continue playing his thing on his own and getting better on his own. And it was when he started playing in church, just like he said, playing for the Sunday school choir, playing in church. And it's a pretty big established church too. It wasn't like a little corner church where you're desperate for a little keyboard player. They had lots of musicians there, but even because of his talent, because he was so good at it, they allowed him to play because he could, you know.
Most churches, if you're not bringing it, we're not.
If you ain't bringing it, you're going to go there with some pawpaw foolishness. They're not.
Fortunately for me, not many people were bringing it. So,
so what you say? You never have a competition. That's what I want to say.
The truth is though, a virgin like Pitts.
Yes.
Pitts is one fine example of my talent enhancing that of the people around me. Because we developed this friendly competition and everybody wanted to be the guy who was playing this or that or you know, I know something new, you don't know it, ha ha ha. You know, that kind of thing. And it developed that friendly competition. But it was, I think I benefited from it more than everybody else. Because when everybody kind of wanted to see what I was doing, to learn it, I never had to see anything. I just had to hear it.
And get it.
You know, I remember one time we were at choir rehearsal, and rehearsal finished, and I'm just fooling around with the keyboard, and Pitts was like, "All right, I'm gone here, gone," and I'm there fooling around. And you know, when you get the feeling you're being watched, I was sitting right in front of the pulpit. And guess who was up at the pulpit just looking? That was Pitts.
Say, hey, I'm going to catch you next time. Watch me at you.
But then Pitts would learn something, and he would never play it if I could see him.
Yeah.
No, I would. As long as I was looking, he was playing something else. He was not playing that. And the moment I looked away, there it was.
The style.
So that kind of just it developed the ears. You know, it's like when I'm said, when you're blind, your sense of hearing develops even more. You know. So that's what did happen to me. I couldn't see it, so I just had to hear it.
I kind of like what you said earlier, both of you really. You said something. You said earlier that when your mom saw the talent and tried to make him go to a traditional way, he was very upset because they tried to restrict him and telling him what he has to do instead of actually developing his talent. So instead of actually sticking to that, because he realized that person could not help him and it's not bringing his talent to a place where it can grow. And say, you know what, I'll do something else instead of just giving up on it completely. Because even though he's like, all right, I'm not gonna go back to that person. He's like, I love this too much. I have to find something else.
And you know what too? If he was forced to be in that environment under that pressure, it would probably break his love for it to an extent. And I believe that's the reason why a lot of younger people that their parents force them to do music, and later on in life that's just not what they want to do because they were forced and they feel pressured, and you know, he just didn't.
Well,
he was.
It's not to me. It's not the fact that his mother forced him or anything. It's more the fact because she saw that he loved it.
Right.
She put him in a position where he is able to grow as the person who's supposed to be teaching them. That's where I find a problem because instead of actually trying to work with a person, they're like, no, it's this way, or the beating stuff.
No, well, the thing is, if you're going to learn formally, you have to just learn formally.
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean? And that's what that was. I think my problem came from the fact that, I learned that I learn differently.
Exactly.
I don't learn in the same way everybody else learns.
Exactly.
Which is probably why, you know, the system might have labeled me as less than brilliant. You know, it's not because I was less than brilliant. I just learn in a different way from everybody else. So part of my problem was I've always been a very logical thinker, and that could have been part of the reason I didn't like music lessons. Here's the thing. If I'm playing well enough, to handle a church service. How am I supposed to see any point to sitting at a piano going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, one
4.
hand.
The
one
problem
hand.
was not that, because I needed that, but I couldn't see that. I
Yeah,
didn't see.
it reminds me so much of the drum line. Remember the movie,
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Drum Line?
exactly.
Up until you learned how to actually read music.
Understand the rudiments, yeah.
You were brilliant. That guy was brilliant at the drums, better than those who even knew how to read the notes,
Yeah.
But because he just wasn't.
You kind of see yourself like you always up in the crowd and.
No,
going
it wasn't
on
even
and-
about that.
or-
It's
or
just that
maybe
I really never saw the point.
the point, yeah.
And this is the thing now, because my mind was always, was always operating in such a logical kind of way. You would have to show me why this was necessary, and that would get me past the boredom of it all.
Yeah.
You know
It
what I mean?
just makes
But
sense.
nobody showed me why that was necessary. I know now,
yeah.
but at the time,
yeah.
Yeah,
I couldn't understand why I
They
did
explain to
this.
you that you could get to understand.
Exactly.
Yeah,
At
what
the
you should
time,
be-
if somebody
yeah,
said,
yeah.
"Listen, there's this band, this orchestra that's coming in town, and they're looking for a brilliant piano player, and they have the music here," bam, and they give you this big stack of book. What would you do then
I
before
would
Edna
be
Band
too
name?
busy to take that job.
Okay, you see? That's the necessity.
Busy
Now, if
doing
somebody
what?
did tell you that long time, you wouldn't be so bored for so long.
Exactly.
But yeah, for somebody that wants to pursue music and there's some fear or maybe distraction or doubt, or you have any advice for them?
Oh, well, this is a tricky kind of question that I get all the time, because you don't want to tell somebody who has no hope in music to follow your dreams.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If it ain't your dream.
You know what I mean?
feel like you should
And the
Is it
truth
your
is,
dreams?
everything is not for everybody.
That's true.
But if you do have some amount of talent, you know what I mean, and interest, and I'm going to just throw in this last part, because for me personally it's the biggest deal, and your heart is in the right place, then I'd say forget about your fears, man, and just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You know, the best that can happen is all your dreams come true. The worst that can happen is nothing to be afraid of. You end up exactly where you are now. It's not so bad, is it?
Amen. That's
But
true.
I mean, yeah,
True.
but even then, but if it's something maybe you wanna try and then later on you could do it, and then maybe you never push the effort to actually go and start and do it, and then you're that. Cause if it's something that you want, or you might feel like you wanna do or something, and even if you don't get it, all right, like how we talk about music, I love lead guitar.
What?
I from ever since I like it. Even back then in Jamaica when in church I used to go to like evening class and stuff to play lead guitar.
How come we just now knowing this? What's up with that?
You understand? I never could play it. I never take enough because I never go there to actually like get to play it and stuff. But it's something I always like. And every time I see a lead guitar,
You're interested.
it's always
Yeah.
good to me, and I always that when I say I gotta get one and I gotta practice to play. You understand? So I guess because I got other things occupy my mind and stuff like that, I never like really like pursue that. But I mean, something that I like, and it's something that I still think I'm gonna try and do too.
Really?
You
Yeah.
should.
Go ahead.
You should.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big part of it, liking it a lot, like you have that passion. There's something there.
Yeah.
Some people have passion and no drive, some people have drive and no passion.
Yeah.
And so if give me one of them,
Yeah.
but you can't work with either one. If there's no passion, no drive, no need,
Yeah.
just sit down and forget about it. Try something else.
Yeah.
I remember, even with me, my sister, I was working in an architectural firm years ago, and I was just getting so frustrated. I'm like, this everyday business, get up, for reach work, fight this traffic to get to work for 8:30 a.m. and all of them, something there, blah, blah, blah. So I said, I was looking for something, like, what is it that I can do? I want to change my field. I want to do something exciting, something that I enjoy. And my older sister, Michelle, said to me, what is it that you would do for free and still enjoy doing it. And the first thing that came to my mind was hair. I do that all the time, but I just never saw like career in hair. You know, for me in Jamaica, growing up in Jamaica, it was never, to me, hairdressing was never looked at as, oh, that's a fabulous career, and you know,
It's just something that
especially because I was raised in a Pentecostal church. They don't do hairdressing business. That is not of God. You don't cream hair, you don't jerry curl hair, you don't put in weave.
You put it in one.
Wash it and plait it up. Amen. And you keep it moving. So that was not even remotely something that I had in mind to do as a career. But it really was, she opened up, she turned on this brilliant light, you know, and showed me that this is what you should be doing because you enjoy it, you love it, there's a passion there. So you need some kind of a passion to pursue your dream, to pursue whatever it is that you like, you know? So the first thing is, do you like it?
Do you want to do it? You're right, because like me, like my career that I did really want to do when I growing up is like mechanic. I used to like to do mechanic, but my aunt that I grew with, they couldn't afford it to like send me to like a mechanic school or whatever like that. So I never get the chance to actually do it. And then I never actually get the chance to like really like go out and learn a skill or something like that back then. And then now I get to start to do construction work or something like that. And then I find out since I started,
forget it.
I actually forget about mechanic because I love construction work. It's like when I go out there, it's like something I say, come on, just do it. It always just like popped up to me. So that's where my passion is right now. And I, as what if saying about music, I don't really think right now it would be, if I do something else right now, it's not because I like to do it. It's just because maybe I just do it to survive. But my heart not gonna be there. Right now my heart is straight in construction building. That's it.
But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Your passions change, and that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it really does come down to a fleeting feeling in the moment, you know.
Yeah.
Like somebody will hear. Okay, it happened to me with music.
Yeah.
I used to sneak out and go to what the hotel name in Aoche? Big hotel. Anyway, go to that hotel,
Grand.
Jamaica Grand, and just to listen to the musicians play every Sunday night and Wednesday night. Yeah, man, we used to sneak out and go.
Really?
Yeah, I can access it.
And one night I heard this youngster. He was around my age. I was a teenager at the time, and he apparently was a guest at the hotel. And he, you know, you can play, you see live music happening, and the guys invited him to jam. And when that dude touched the piano, I was like blown away. I couldn't believe somebody my age could play like that. You know what I mean? I thought to play that way, you had to be like grown up and seasoned. No, this dude was playing like it was amazing. And I went home and I practiced my off.
Right.
Yeah.
And the next day I was practicing, and then by the following week I was practicing a little less.
Oh God.
And then it just faded real quick. That feeling in the moment got me all hyped. Now, that happens to a lot of people who just hear music and say, yo, that's so nice. It's my bridge and I play that, means me can do it too. Wow, them excited. Still no drive, still no talent, no passion, just excitement in the moment. It can happen. Which is why I'm kind of careful about saying to everybody, follow your dreams. Your dreams might really, should really be somewhere else.
Because
and everybody have the gift of music, you know what I mean?
You can actually dream about something, and maybe when you get there, you find yourself not even to like that thing neither. So you have to turn to something else.
But the flip side of that too is I would encourage anybody and everybody, if you get this idea and this drive in the moment, pursue it, man. See where it leads.
Yeah, see where it leads. Yeah.
You know, but don't be like some of the people I met while I was in college, who just tell themselves that they're the greatest and they really should be doing something else.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen so many vocalists who really shouldn't be singing. They shouldn't even be talking. To tell you the truth, you know what I mean.
It's more like they're trying to convince themselves.
They have convinced themselves.
Oh, all right.
But not anybody else.
Okay.
You feel me? But let me. I don't like how I'm sounding now. I'm sounding like real negative and
No, you sound
raining
like
on the
realist.
parades.
Yeah.
You know. But the thing is, I still have to tell you though that follow the passion, follow the drive, and see where it goes,
See where it
because
goes.
you might actually be the most fantastic guitarist we've never heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
But we're not gonna know that until you go in.
Until we
You know
go
what I mean?
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then not because there is some talent, some passion, some meaning that you're not going to have to put effort in it. You have to put. You have to put in.
Well,
you have to put
talent
the
and
work
no
in.
effort. Yeah, it don't work like that.
No,
Sometimes-
definitely, most definitely.
Sometimes
Like that.
your dream might not line up with what you're actually supposed to do. So if you know it, lie to yourself and say you can't sing when you're supposed to be playing.
Oh Lord. Right.
And we're just gonna leave it right there. It's like, and then other times it's like instead of singing or playing, you're just supposed to be teaching.
Yeah.
like those who
Yeah,
can't
it's
do.
like
like even my brother now. I know you're singing now and stuff. So it's like you take it to another level now. So
Yes.
what
Well,
about the singing
here's
part
the
of
thing, no.
your career now?
Right.
My one regret with that, although you never asked about regrets, is my one regret with that is that I didn't listen to my father early on, because the moment he saw any musical talent in me, he was saying, "Yo, you need to sing,"
Wow.
Yeah.
and I kept telling this man, "Me can't sing. I'm a musician. Cut the crap. I'm a musician. I'm not a singer."
Right.
musicians can't do other than sing.
And Daddy was consistent. Daddy said, "No man, you need to sing. You know him, babe. You know,
Oh yes.
You really, yeah man, try the singing, man, because yeah man, you must sing." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, I can't sing." Here I am, grown man with my own kids and mortgage and big people problems.
Singing.
Finally about to listen to Daddy.
Listen. It's never too late. Listen, it's never too late.
Yeah, it's always gonna be the right time for maybe it's the right time you really stepped out, because maybe if you did try those time, maybe you just because you never. But now maybe you got that passion for singing, because I listened to some of your song and you're doing pretty good.
Why, thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
What
yeah,
changed
yeah.
though? What caused you to
yeah,
change?
that'd be
And
Not
how
change,
you
but
manage
to
both
add
of
singing.
them right now, like the
To
music and
enhance
the
it.
singing.
No, well, I mean, I love music generally.
Yeah.
Right now, my passion is vocals, being a recording artist. However, I refuse to be one of them starving artists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my passion for playing music pays the bills while I chase the dream of recording and singing music. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's what it's where it's
That's
at for me.
smart.
Okay.
That's smart.
Again, rational mind.
Right.
Logical.
Logical.
So you like how you back then you said you used to play like in the church and stuff like that. No? So how many of the church playing you do like now in your career?
I played in church up till last Sunday. Or is that this Sunday? Sunday gone.
Sunday gone. This Sunday.
Yeah. I haven't been pursuing much in terms of playing in church, and I have not been getting many requests to play in church. That's probably because those who know me think of me as being too busy for that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm available. I still play in church whenever I get the opportunity.
Hear that, churches?
Okay.
What?
He's available whenever.
He's
Oh yeah.
advertising.
Oh yeah.
Give him a call. Give them your number so
Yeah
they can
man, link
call
up
you.
KBI.
No, you
Link
want.
KBI,
Yeah,
alright.
exactly.
And
So we have a
they'll
musician.
negotiate on my behalf.
No, we won't. We will not attempt to do that.
We'll give you the number.
You have
that
so you can
opportunity.
contact me.
Alright.
Wow.
Well, I'm curious about something though. I understand that you're passionate. You were always passionate about music. Even when sometimes you like, I'm not going to stick to this format right now because I don't understand what you're doing, but I'm gonna do what I know is working right now and grow from it. Just being around with people who are also like-minded as myself, right?
Mhm.
So when you were going through your the hardest times in your music career, like before you became who you are now, how did you deal with that and say, you know what, I'm still gonna pursue this?
Hardest times in terms of what though?
Well, I'm not gonna say it's just based off financial. It's more like mental. It's like,
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, the hardest times in my life came about when I was pursuing music at a higher level as a pianist. When I was studying at Edna College, and music was my escape from that reality. You know what I mean? It provided that stress relief. You know, because that was a time in my, you know me I talk about, but I won't go into the details of that. But that was a rough point in my life, and music was the sunshine in my day. You know what I mean? So, when you ask me how do you deal with that, I mean, I don't know. It was just music for me was the escape. So I escaped. Believe me,
Yes.
I got the hell out of there.
Yeah, so you say like if anything should be bothering you, music is what you use to actually.
No, not necessarily. I mean, there's different vices for different moods and different problems and things. But you asked about the hardest point
The
in my
hardest
life.
part,
That
yeah,
was the
yeah.
roughest part of my life, and music was that for me. Music was that escape. It was that drug that I got high on every day. It was that thing that I was addicted to. It removed me from the things that used to upset me.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
But now though, I mean, I honestly consider myself a very happy individual. I don't know that there is any problems that really get me down per se. There are issues we have to deal with from time to time, but there's nothing that is really bothering me. So I honestly can't even answer that question. What do I do when life gets hard? Life just doesn't get hard for me.
Wow.
I'm excited about life.
No,
I'm
you know
happy.
what though? It's how you look at it.
Yeah.
For some people,
Look.
because the rain fall, life is hard.
Yeah,
so,
but guess what? No, I'm gonna be real with you. If I could have any problem solved right now, any problem in the world, I would say, give me some money.
I think that's 99.9%.
No, but guess what? But guess what? After that, me not no problem. I'm good.
Right.
I'm a happy person.
Right.
Yeah.
I love my kids. Them love me.
You find your happiness.
But a lot of
You find
people
your happiness.
got a lot of
But
money. And
that's
still-
exactly
and
my
still-
point.
That's
That's exactly my
unhappy
point.
too.
They're not happy. Money or no money.
Yeah, so I don't. I
I
don't-
might sound like I'm going off on a limb, but there's this particular person that I know, and she was dating this guy, and from one guy to the next guy, and then she's always so unhappy and so miserable in the relationships. It's fine in the beginning, and then it gets sour like any typical on and off kind of thing. And I realized, what came to me to tell her was that, you know what, you have to be happy by yourself. Her thing was, you can't be alone. You married. You can say what you want to say. I said, I'm not saying that you're supposed to be lonely for the rest of your life. No. Learn to be happy alone. You know? Learn who you are.
If I can add to that, I hope your friend is listening. I doubt it, but I still hope. You see, a good man wants a happy woman.
Oh, yes. I believe
He's not looking for a woman to make her happy.
Right.
He's looking for a happy woman so they can be happy together.
And I'll say it
So
again.
she can stay there talking about you can't be alone and you you need to be happy by yourself. Because watch out now. If we even talking biblically, the Bible say if you find a wife,
You find a
you
good
find a
place.
say he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Which means you're not even supposed to go look at
Look
one
for
another.
a husband, right?
You need to be happy so when the right man come and find you, him stop looking. But if you're miserable,
That's right.
if you're looking for somebody to make, you, happy, he's
Yeah.
gonna just keep looking.
Yeah,
That's
because happiness, I think happiness comes from within. You know, you have to find
Definitely.
happiness for yourself. Nobody can really make you happy. Somebody can help you to be happy, but first you have to find that happiness. You have to find that passion. You have to find what actually make you happy. Because a lot of these ladies, maybe they think a man or whatever can make them. And that's why you see a lot of...
Or even money. Some people
Or
think,
money
if
or
I get
whatever.
money, I'll be
Yeah.
happy. No. You have to find, like you said, happiness is within. And a lot of people don't know where their happy place is. They don't know how to find their happiness.
Yeah.
And so, when you are happy, it's attractive to anyone and everyone. People are attracted to you because of your expression of being happy. So Yeah, you have to find your happy place. So, Korik,
Yes,
our
ma'am.
apostle says, let's hear about your journey to get to where you are now as a producer. So that's another extension of who you are. You're a
goodness.
producer, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Man, hot.
I don't know hot now. My very first experience as a producer started out with a karaoke tape machine.
Hello.
Remember that?
No,
you
sir.
don't remember that.
Karaoke tape machine.
I had this very small keyboard and a karaoke machine. Now it had like a double deck cassette tape and it had mic inputs. Right? Now instead of using a mic input, you know me get all creative and things, so I get some cassette. And I plug my keyboard into the mic input number 1. Put the cassette tape in there and just record it something. I flip that cassette over to deck 2, put in a new cassette, play the first cassette, hit record on the second one, and
Play
here
with
I
the-
am overdubbing.
Sure.
And I did that over and over until I had this entire
Harmony.
symphony going on. Right? Of course, it's cassette, so each time you record over it, the quality decreases and tape stretch, key change, all kind of crazy things happen. So, you know, you couldn't record more than a few tracks. Years passed, and, you know, you got exposed to keyboards with 16-track sequencers on board and all these. You learn to use these things. And I remember actually being in studio. My father took me to a studio in Ocho Rios one time. It was the most amazing place I've ever seen. First of all, the silence in that room was loud. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it was. I don't know if you walk
You
into
hear
a
an
room and the
ant
silence is
walking.
just. That was the first time I ever experienced that because it was a professionally treated room. It was designed for audio production. So the only sound you're really supposed to hear is the sound you create. Right? All right, cool. No echoes in the room whatsoever. And I spent hours in there just watching the people produce music. I saw these amazing keyboards, which are just extremely old technology now. We're talking keyboards like the emulator. You've probably never heard of that. The Roland D50, Yamaha DX7, Korg M1, old gear. And with, you know, that big, long mixing console and 2-inch 24-track tape spinning in the corner. Whole heap of things are going on, and it was just amazing. It was like you walked onto the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. That's what it was for me. Why am I going into this long story? Anyway, so I am at Edna Manley College, and somebody decided that they want a track produced for a song they were trying to record. And so a brethren of mine took me to a studio. This was the first time I saw a studio set up in a living room. It was a computer and a keyboard. And I went there and we did a track. And I was like, wow, I gotta get me one of these.
A computer and
A computer and a keyboard. And then after that, of course, I got exposed, you know, to more professional situations. You know, commercial studios with songwriting sessions happening, and a songwriting session is one of the most exciting things you can think of. Where you have
They have those? I didn't
yeah,
know
man, you
that.
have 4 or 5 writers in a room, and they're all just throwing out ideas.
Wow.
You know,
I didn't
and
know
we're
that.
all trying to write one song, you know. Of course, there is a leader, otherwise ideas will just keep clashing all day. You know. Anyway, so my very first production was in a commercial studio, where a virgin that went to my church. Somehow he knew somebody who knew somebody, and he got some time in the studio for free.
Wow.
A funny story.
That don't happen.
A
Really.
funny story
rare.
happened now. This dude said to me, I'm not going to call his name, but the dude who owned the studio, his name is Mikey Bennett. Big up yourself, Mikey Bennett, if you happen to be listening.
And then studio.
Mikey owned the studio, and Mikey gave the virgin some time for free. So during the whole production process, it took a few weeks. One at a time, the artist said to me, because I'm a real Christian, you know. Him said, boy, Mikey nice for a Christian doing. Mikey nice for a sinner doing.
Oh, Jesus. Ah!
So me I said,
Sound hypocrite.
you know Mikey?
Oh, my
I
God.
said, no, I don't know Mikey, but
For a sinner.
if you're a sinner, I'm
Oh,
really nice.
Jesus.
I'm like, how
Oh,
you know the man a sinner? He man said, am I Christian? I said, well, me don't know, but
You don't, nobody knows. What, how you come to that judgment?
The man said, "I'm not a Christian because he don't go to church." I'm like,
Oh,
Gotcha.
all right. Okay.
Oh,
you know.
those
But yeah,
Okay.
sorry for taking up your time and telling all these stories. But this is part of my journey as a producer.
Right.
It-
So you do gospel artists,
yeah,
reggae
man.
artists.
Yeah, man. You
Any
know what? The funny
artist?
thing is, I've always wanted to get into the wider music industry as a producer. As it turns out, as luck or fate or destiny would have it, I've been doing mostly gospel productions for some reason. I can brag a little bit. I have played on many songs from the wider music industry that I call secular music. For example,
Such
I am the
as?
keyboard player on Tess and Chin's Hideaway.
All right.
Yeah, that
Really?
is. Yeah, man, I me play keyboard on that.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
only for little things
Big
like that, man.
things.
Only for nice things like that.
All right.
But most of my work is in gospel, and yeah, I remember even Catalyst crew days. I don't know
Yes.
how many of you people remember Catalyst.
You know,
But Catalyst was a huge deal in its time in the early 2000s, early to mid. Yeah. Yeah, I did a lot of production work on that. Big up yourself, Paul Barkley. I've done many productions for JCDC, the gospel music, gospel festival, gospel competition. I've actually won. My production has actually won one of those competitions.
Wow.
Yeah, man. What if enough things go?
What about your your latest entry in the what do you call that now?
The festival
The
song
festival
competition.
song
That was last
competition.
year. Yeah,
Yes.
I had a song in that competition called
Yes.
"Let's Do It in Jamaica." You listen now. All I want to listen to this. Please go and look up KORIQ.
Yes.
Let's Do It in Jamaica.
Where can you
Nice
find
song. YouTube.
That's on YouTube, man. Go and go look for it.
it? SoundCloud?
I don't know if they put
Supposed
it. I don't know if they put it on SoundCloud.
Well, it's on definitely on
It's
YouTube.
definitely,
Definitely
on
on
YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
You know what? I should put.
I was in Jamaica the other day and I heard that song played on the radio, so I started recording a video of it. I had to send it to him, like, listen, your song is playing on the radio.
Yeah. And-
Yeah,
and-
so with this said and done, like yeah, you're a good musician. We all know that and everything. You play very good. I hear you play a couple of times. Very relaxing and I hear you sing too, and it, you know, but like in the future, you see yourself like for the younger youth, you see yourself like teach music or something like that.
Honestly, no. I spent some time teaching, and teaching is really not my passion. You know, certainly if there's an apprenticeship type of situation where, you know, I have a virgin and I want to learn some things, I'll happily show you some stuff. We can even do it on a regular basis as if I were a teacher. But to say, you know, make that be like a profession or an income earner for me, I don't know that I have the passion for that. So, you know, I'm not going to say no, it will never happen, but I have no such plans at the moment.
Oh, okay.
What if you want to learn? We can teach you a thing or two.
No, I'm not really talking about me because because you know you have so many young people actually out there and whatever like that. You know that sometimes if you should say, for instance, have a like a place where you do that, like said, I know a couple of people who have like a music class or something where they get young people and it's actually helped them, you know, yeah, in some form or way actually do
but you
some
know what,
form
though?
of good to them.
I think technology is great for people like that, the people you just described.
Yeah.
For example, the only reason you would need a teacher in these days is if you're trying to go formal, you're trying to get a formal music education. You need a teacher for that. However, if you have a little talent and your ear is good, YouTube is your best friend. I mean,
Yeah,
listen,
I know all of that is good in a formal way, but in and maybe the flip side of the kind, if the young people actually have something that they're gonna go to, like say for instance they got a class from 1 to 2, them actually maybe will be able to actually learn more than if they should actually go on technology, because you might actually go there and not even do what you're supposed to do. Because there are so many things like in there, you might go there to do this, and you might actually don't do it. But if they have something that they like a 1 to 2 where they go like 3 times a week or 2 times a week, I think it will actually give them a more drive to get it done than go to technology.
Yeah, but you know what? I think what you're describing would be perfect for like how you say troubled youth. You know, kids who just need something to do. Don't have a serious man. I'm not joke because guess what? You see the kids now who do not fall into that troubled youth category.
Yeah.
You can't play like me. Can't play like them. Them man, they when them sit down on YouTube and them learn every little, and I'm sitting there amazed at how these kids play. They're kids here now playing for 2 years. Seeing, I'm a grown man playing since I was 7, and there are kids now playing for 2 years who just amaze me. And you ask, where you learn all that? Oh, there's this guy on YouTube. There's this guy on YouTube. There's always this guy on YouTube, and for some reason I can't find that guy.
Maybe you
are that guy. You don't even know.
Maybe you are the guy.
Because believe me, I search for that dude. Man.
Yeah, because all right, like a lot of time, like said, for instance, me, I always see myself as somebody who can do good tile work or something like that. But most of the time when you go out there and you actually see another tiler, you actually realize that you need to learn some more, because you see, like I was watching even the same YouTube other day and I see a guy cutting a tile and I never see it done like that before. So a lot of time this thing is something that you continue, like whatever you offer is something that you always continue to develop. And you never know enough. I don't think you ever know enough.
Well, you can know enough, but you can't know too much.
Too much, okay.
You know, for example, in terms of playing, like if you're in a job where all you have to do is bang, just bang, then all you really need to know is how to bang and get the feel right. And once you have all of that down, you know enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I get what you're saying though. You really can never know too much. You can't get too comfortable and say, yeah, well, this is
absolutely
it. Because when your situation changed and your abilities haven't changed, you know, things kind of soft by you.
Not only that, but then the times are changing, styles are changing,
exactly.
The way of doing things are changing, and so you can't just stick with your old cookie cutter way of doing things, or you're going to get left behind.
And then too, music is a means of expression, you know, and the bigger your vocabulary, the more able you are to express yourself in different situations, you know, express different ideas to different people in different situations. So as a musician or as a tiler or as anybody, it really does benefit you to learn as much as you can for as long as you can.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of learning, I'm curious, how do you like balance like a relationship when and your passions at the same time? Because I know that some people when they see you at first, they're like, yeah, they're for you when you're doing your doing something. But when they see that you're not setting aside enough time for them, they're like, So.
Well, watch I know. As far as relationships go, I believe that if I'm in a relationship with a woman, I'm not just in a relationship with her good moods or her stable financial situation, or no. I'm in a relationship with all of her. You get what I'm saying? In the same way, if a woman is in a relationship with me, she's in a relationship with the fact that I'm going to be gone 3 months out of the year. You know what I mean? I'll be home, but you can't talk to me. I'm in the studio. You're in a relationship with that guy. You feel me? So it's really, for me, it's really simple. Understand who you're with and decide if that can work for you. Because if you can't deal with your man being missing from time to time because of his work, which happens to be his passion, then you need to find some other dude who is going to be home at 5 o'clock.
Lord Jesus.
All the way until him leave for work at
Will not
7:30 the next day.
promote that, no.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
you're right. The problem, where the problem would be if you go in the relationship with a blindfold. She never know nothing about that when you're going in. You understand? But you know, when you're going with everything you got, you're going openly and stuff like that. You can't go like halfway in the relationship and have a problem with that.
But you know,
because you know that's a man's career.
Right.
What's
That's
really
what he
funny
do.
though? What's funny though is that I've never been in a relationship where that was a problem. I don't know what dealing with that problem is like. I mean, I guess I've been fortunate that, you know, whatever caused the demise of any past relationships for me had nothing to do with my work or my passion.
Okay.
That's a blessing.
Hey, that is.
Yeah.
I've seen.
You got a lot of ladies not gonna understand that though, I'm telling you.
No, but they have the good sense to stay the hell away from me. because listen, a lot of people have this idea.
Lord
No, relax, we're good. People have this idea that you need to be in a relationship.
Yes.
Or you need to get married. But really, I need to be happy. That's what I need. You know? And so if a relationship or a job or any situation is going to come against my happiness, I'm choosing happiness over that.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
Alone and lonely are two very different things that have nothing to do with each other. I can be alone and not, you know. Sure, not gonna behave, you know.
Please behave.
There are so many people, and I happen to know this for a fact. There are people who have never been lonely until they got into certain relationships.
Didn't know what loneliness
Never
was.
experienced loneliness until you got into the wrong relationship.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can happen.
All this time you were alone, and
You were
loneliness
fine.
was somewhere else.
Wow, I never looked at it that way. It's true though.
So me, no, I'm not afraid of that. Me, I choose happiness over any relationship, over any situation, over any job. No man, happiness. You need to have peace of mind. Nothing is worth more than my
I
peace of mind.
believe that. I agree. Peace of mind.
What about those people who's like, I could change them?
Well, you have to catch him first. And you know, if your attitude is you can change me, good luck. You're not catching me. Nope.
Lord.
Yeah, but you got people who sit in relationship for years and years in the abuses
Listen,
and stuff and say, hey, one day he person gonna change or whatever like that. You in a relationship and somebody abuse you for 2-3 years and you still sit in it and said the person is still gonna.
If somebody try to
Wow,
abuse it.
something
If
wrong
somebody
with you,
try to
man.
abuse it for 2 or 3 minutes, that's too much.
Yeah.
But we don't have to do with music. Let's get back to it.
That's all. It's just a conversation, man.
Oh.
It's
Just a conversation.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Talk about
Yeah.
it. Wow.
So,
All right.
yeah.
So how was well, you never really did transition from gospel to secular. You're pretty much
Now, well, you see,
within all of
if you notice, I don't even like using the word secular. I'm gonna call it the wider music industry.
Just-
'Cause for
Wider
I
me,
just find music.
Okay.
man.
for me, it's all music. It's music. I mean, think about it. Is this a gospel conversation or is it just a conversation?
it's just a
Just a-
conversation.
But I watch this program quite a bit, and we talk about all kinds of things, and it's happening in a church. You feel me?
It's like-
So it's just a conversation. So for me, music is just music.
Exactly.
What is gospel is the message.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, you know, sometimes when you talk about gospel music, listen to what they're saying. That have nothing to do with gospel. It's just music that the
It's
church
true,
accepts.
It's true.
If you're not talking about the death and the burial and the resurrection,
Come on
where
now,
is
my
the
brother.
gospel?
Come on now. It's true.
You get what I'm saying?
It's true.
When we are taken by force, where's the gospel in that?
Oh, Jesus.
When suppose we don't meet,
Hey,
where's
that
the
could be
gospel in
taken
that?
another way,
Suppose we
but
don't
all right.
It's an extension
I
of.
think so, that the part where supposed we don't meet is an expression.
It's an extension
It's-
of the
it's just-
gospel.
it's just
It's,
an
it's
expression of the
music
gospel
that the
because-
church accepts.
Yeah, I know
But it is not the gospel of Jesus Christ, bro.
All right.
Anyway,
It depends. Some songs, that particular one, no.
hold on, sorry. Me I go interrupt you, 'cause now you're
Yeah.
gonna make me misbehave. And I feel like I can misbehave on this because
You
this
cannot.
is very much along
Again,
the
this
church
is
lines.
just
You
a
have to behave.
If
conversation.
you were not talking about the death and the burial and the resurrection of your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
you're not talking gospel. Because that is what the good news is. It's nothing else, nothing more. Everything else that we sing is accepted.
I wouldn't say everything else, but I understand what you're saying. There are a lot of songs that have nothing to do with it. It's true.
Hold on, though. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I am saying we shouldn't sing these other songs in church. No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
It's appropriate for church. But we call the whole light gospel music when it gospel. Look here. Roots music. Yeah? I know every reggae are roots, you know.
No.
You see what I say? It's not every reggae song is a roots show. Like, for example, I don't have any roots music in my repertoire, but I sing reggae music.
Right.
You feel me? In the same way, all religious music is not gospel.
But you know, some people call it Christian. You could the genre. They have it
Christian
under
music
gospel,
is
but
its
they do
own
have
genre,
Christian,
really.
right?
And a lot of those songs
Still,
speak about the
so
gospel
you're saying
message.
some of them is just asking a question. Then.
No,
That's what
I'm saying
because if you gonna say no, suppose we don't meet, that would be a question.
No.
That would be a question I could ask
the
you.
thing is, you don't need to defend it, you know, because I'm not attacking at all. There's nothing to defend here, except that all I'm saying is there are songs we sing in church that totally belong in church. It's perfectly fine. It edifies the body and everything.
Yeah.
But we call it gospel when it don't
It's
say
really
nothing
not
about the
mentioning
death,
the
the burial, and the resurrection.
Okay, man, that's
That's what the gospel is.
Yeah.
Everything else we sing in church.
I'm understand what you're saying.
It's just music. Praise and worship music is not gospel music. It's praise and worship.
praise and worship.
but
Right, they have it differently.
some of these, the song can actually lead you back to the gospel.
That particular one is not that what them call that one? Oh, they call it reggae gospel.
What?
Suppose we don't meet.
No, that's not reggae.
No.
And a reggae gospel.
It is recognized as gospel, as what you say. But
Alright, so I say even a song like Behold He Comes.
Huh?
Show me what the gospel is in that.
These are the days of Elijah.
Yeah.
Declaring
You feel me, I
the
say?
word of the Lord.
We call the whole. But then again. Anyway, move on. We're gonna be-
I would just like to say it's somewhat of an extension, because if you should start saying, okay, I'm going to preach the gospel right now, and I'm not just going to say, well, you know, Jesus was born of a virgin, and then he died at such and such an age for such and such a reason, and it would have done in a short space of time. But if I should go on, you're going to have questions around it, and it's going to go out to suppose we really not meet on the judgment day, because God is coming back.
The gospel of a wider.
No, but hold on. Let me
But I understand what you mean by the gospel.
Let me talk to you about that a little bit though. If Pastor Apostle Nelson said,
Yes, sir.
love each other. If him say, you know, you must love your neighbor as Christ loved the church. Now that is a positive message that God is all for. But it's not the gospel message. The gospel message is a very different message. I don't know if you understand the message.
Yeah, man.
Explain the gospel message to me. Explain the difference, because
do you know what?
I actually.
Do you know what? Do you know what the gospel is?
Yeah.
Do you know what the
No,
gospel
you
is?
just said it, the burial. You understand?
Resurrection.
If
The
it's-
resurrection.
Once you stop talking about that, you stop talking gospel.
Facts.
Yeah.
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 Actual the
good news?
gospel, the good news of
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. That is what the good news is.
That's what
Yeah,
it's
we
supposed to
know.
be spread abroad.
I understand. That's
But it's
looking
not.
at it very
The thing
technically.
is, how I view music, regardless
Thank you.
of your
Right back to
platform,
music.
regardless of what you sing, it's a means to stir the spirit, stir that emotion. So it's like, yes, you're gonna find some who are pushing the gospel. Then you're gonna have some who are just pushing their, just trying to push something. And it's like, and then there's others who, cause there's certain, like for instance, James Brown, he don't sing no Christian music, and Elvis Presley. These people, again, yes, they might have been they were in the church at one point. Both were at when they were younger, but they did their own thing, and they still draw a crowd, and it's like they still draw this massive following, and it's like they're not pushing the gospel, but at the same time they're pushing that they're stirring your emotions, and it's like, and them just and I feel like that's pretty much what music is, a means to stir that emotion and make a person either remember a time when they were going through something, or a good time when just give them that emotional boost. So I'm like, all right, I could keep on living. Because I used to never understand why these people, they made this commercial where this guy's like, yeah, music is my religion. I'm like, what kind of foolish? But when I think about it a little deeper, it's like this person was really going through certain. Because it's like some of them is like, they like, yo, this legit stopped me from killing myself. So music is a means to put on, to just get you through certain things. And yes, it can be, if it's gospel, that would be great. Sometimes it's country. I get country, but other people,
country Christian.
other people get it, and it's like some people find technique.
Gospel.
What's the music called? They make up all the noise.
Techno, rock.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They find their comfort in those different music. So music to me is just a means to stir your emotions.
What do you think, Corey, of we're talking about, all right, let me just ask you about, like, for instance, reggae gospel, like Papa San type reggae gospel, Lieutenant Stitchy kind of. What do you think about that?
I think it's great music.
Great music.
I think it's great music. The funny thing is, okay, being a member of the famed Catalyst crew, we go through a whole heap of fight from stuff. But there are many people who resisted it. Why? Because it never looked like what you know traditionally to be Christian artists or gospel music or anything like that. It didn't look anything like what was familiar to you. And I found that strange because Jesus himself came with a message that everybody found to be strange at the time. It's only now in our time that we'll look back at that and say, yeah, he was onto something. But the people at the time crucified him for it.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? And I found it really strange that, because some people think of Jimmy Swaggart or Shirley Caesar as gospel and everything that sounds more Jamaican as outer road sinful music. Strange. But I imagine if I didn't grow up in church, the music we know as gospel traditionally wouldn't have any effect on me. You'd have to send a Papa San out there to talk to me, or a Stitchy, or a prodigal son.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
All right. Last question. You said earlier that you were formerly part of this specific group.
I got something to say about that. Because right there where you say about not growing up in church and stuff like that, maybe the gospel music would not have an effect on you. I have to switch from that because I didn't grow up in church. And it's the church music that effect on me.
Yeah, but me and you not gonna like the same.
Yeah, me know what I say. Me know say it not work for you, but it work for me.
Right.
You understand? And like most of the time, I think like the Papa San music or the Papa San music actually get to actually the person who really don't grow up in church. The dancer,
but what's funny too is that you have a lot of people who don't grow up in church who hear this music and go, what that? I know gospel that. You know why?
That's true.
Yeah. You know why? Because we grew up, whether you grew up in church or not, we grew up with this idea, say I saw gospel for sound and I saw it for somewhere. I remember walking up and down in Ochi one day, my big baggy jeans and Timberlands and my t-shirt hung out and thing, and a little girl point me across the street and said, go on the Christian in her jeans.
Yeah.
And I laughed. I was like, what are you supposed to wear there?
Yeah, we a lot about the back then church, that's how we grew up. Like even when me growing up, there's a lot of things I see people wear now, where back then if a older lady see you back then.
Yeah.
But then those times them actually would stop you and maybe actually pull you aside and wanna take it off of you.
Christian nothing in the latest nothing. And Christian mustn't
it's not of God.
Christian music mustn't sound like fun. It must sound solemn and worshipful. It must not sound like fun. These are the ideas we grew up with, But you see, I have always been a bit of a rebel. So if I were like you, who never grew up in a church, you see the kind of music that brought you into church, it would have helped push me further away.
Yeah. Well,
that's the
I
reason
never
why
really
I
grew
asked.
up around church, but I grew up around people who go into church.
And that, my friend, is exactly where you got this idea from. Say, gospel music. It's that influence, you know.
Alright, so my last question to you,
Again.
right?
One more last question.
Well, I said my last question.
Okay.
All right, so you talk about being a part of this group, and what kept you together? Because like I find it kind of aggravating working with people at times.
Yeah, of course.
Of egos and so forth. So, what kept you guys to working together? And
you know what? Before I even get to answer, you know, I want to tell you that the people who usually complain about egos usually have an ego problem themselves.
Well,
It's usually the guy who has the biggest ego complaining and say, yo, I don't like your ego. You know?
It's because I'm mad.
but that's just one of the things. It's like,
No,
but
but
still.
yeah. Well, you know what? Recently, I had a conversation with a brethren talking about the arrogance of people in the music industry, and I promise you, this is the most arrogant person I've ever met in my life.
Wow. It's funny how people know how to point out their own
Never
issues.
really see it themselves.
Nah, see them
You know,
own, but
you know
yeah.
the truth is, without the use of a mirror, your face would be the one face you couldn't ever see.
Wow, that's good. That's
You know?
good.
But what kept Catalyst together? I think we were all of the same mind in terms of what we wanted to do sonically. So we knew what we wanted it to sound like. We wanted to make a difference in gospel music where that is concerned, because at the time, the most Jamaican of gospel artists still sounded like
somebody else.
Yeah, it wasn't fine. We had a traditional gospel sound, you know, represented by people like Sandra Brooks, Grace Thrillers, Sister Scully, Love Singers, that kind of thing. And then of course we had the choir people. We had the Sons and Daughters, and we had Portmore Vision Choir, and you know, all these wonderful choirs. We had Jamaican music represented in gospel from pretty much every genre except reggae. There was no reggae. The last reggae group before Catalyst was a group named Change, which happened probably 20 years prior.
Wow.
You feel me? So many people never even heard of Change when Catalyst came about, not knowing, say, it's really them we have followed. if
anything, right.
You know? And then Catalyst started at a time when even what we know as street gospel, but them call it reggae gospel. I think more like street gospel, where it sounds more like dance hall. You know, Prodigal Son, DJ Nicholas, Chevelle Franklin, Papa San, and all these people. That kind of thing was slowly on the rise when Catalyst came around. So even that wasn't much of an issue, because perhaps if they were established at the time, Catalyst wouldn't get so much of a lick. Because dancehall is more aggressive than reggae. So all those who would have complained about reggae probably would not even notice it.
Wow.
Because
them have enough the worst of the worst.
Yeah, but the dancehall, the street gospel now was on the rise with producers like Danny Brownie. Big up yourself, Danny Brownie, if you're listening. My virgin, Dr. Diesel. A lot of these producers were doing a lot of
just share
street. I did, but problems.
Share again.
But yeah. So Catalyst now, our mission was to make reggae gospel. And I hate that term as well, but that's it name, reggae gospel. I think, you know, rather than something abstract. The funny thing now is that everybody started to record reggae gospel around that time as well. Because Catalyst, you know how we stay as Jamaican people, something work, we are going to try it too.
That's right.
Exactly.
You know? And then, you know, we have even dancehall street gospel artists putting out reggae albums, and that was like strange, but it worked, you know? So I think, to answer your question more directly, I think what kept us together is what pulled us together in the first place. This desire to make reggae, I think, because we were all passionate about reggae. We were all church people. Most of us born in church. All of us pretty much grew up in church. And we had a passion for reggae music. And we were all musicians, and we just decided to make that work. And it was working for a while, you know. Don't ask me what made the group split up, but but yeah, it was working, and that I think is what kept us together. On top of the fact that, you know, we were getting paid. You know, we were getting paid. It was a pretty good gig.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for listening. I thank you for all who came. This was a wonderful a wonderful night. I thank you for participating.
Of course.
It wasn't
of course.
too.
No, man, it was
All
lovely.
right,
It was
all
nice.
right, wonderful.
It wasn't too hard to behave myself.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
God.
we don't try to force anything down you.
Sure.
Yeah. So, well, I want to thank again our wonderful guest,
Corey.
Cork,
Mm.
the recording artiste, Cork,
That you can find on YouTube at
That you-
KORIQ Music.
and his music is. Want just push yourself. Man. Anything? Any last words?
Last words, dude. Watch yourself.
No.
man.
You
No,
know what?
God.
Last
Last words.
Any words of encouragement? Any
Closing thought.
Closing thoughts.
Yeah, and even
Any closing
mention
thought?
your
Yeah,
you know, where you
like-
can be found, what you're into, what you do, what you know.
Yeah, well, you can find me at KORIQ Music everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Email is korikmusic@gmail. It's all Korik Music. Yeah, you can
Music
find me.
with a C, right?
Music spelled properly. Make a good school.
That's right.
Okay, respect. Closing thoughts.
Well, as I say, follow your dream. Never stop. Don't give up on what you believe in.
See, respect.
Just work. Continue to work towards it. Once you're enjoying it and you're taking care of your family,
Of
work
course.
to it, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
Going down the line of music, one issue that I've always had, and I don't have it anymore, I had to deal with myself on that, was the whole reggae gospel, dance hall gospel, this type it was, and I realized that I always had a problem with the dance hall gospel. I think it was so aggressive half the time, I don't know what they're saying. But instead of judging, you know, or continually judging people on that type of music, I realized that, you know what? I am just not attracted to that type of music. I was never a dance hall kind of a girl when I was in or out of church. So that would never have attracted me at all. And so some reggae, back when I was out in the world, I used to love any kind of Rasta type, what do you call it, roots?
Roots music.
Roots kind of music was my kind of thing. And even though I still kind of like the sound, the feel, the vibe. So the Catalyst was my type. I used to like Catalyst type of music, certain type of reggae, depending on how aggressive it sound and what the lyrics are saying. So man basically just saying, you know what, don't judge. Don't judge people and the type of music that they like.
Is it bringing change?
If it's bringing something positive, it's bringing some good change, then just, it's not yours, that's fine. Just leave it alone, you know. If you like it, good. If you don't, leave it alone.
God gave us options.
Yeah, option. That's amen. God gave us options. Thank God for that. Because I mean, if it was just the dancehall gospel, it wouldn't work for me none at all.
Yeah, if it was just traditional gospel, it wouldn't work for
If
me.
it was just Jimmy Swaggart, and it's funny how I like Jimmy now, but back then when I was a child, I was
It
so
wouldn't work.
depressed. It was depressing. I hated when mommy used to play those little things. But
cried a lot.
But you know what? You know, just embrace the good. That's my final words there.
All right.
today.
Well, my final words is pursue your passion. Sometimes, you know, it might not lead where you think it will. Because I thank you all because you actually helping me as like making certain choices in my life. So the thing is, and I'm not going to get too deep into it because I'm still working on it. But I thank you all for coming out and just, again, pursue your passions because you don't know where it might lead you. Yes, you might fall along the way. And yes, you're going to meet some people that are going to completely turn you off from doing it the traditional way at first. But just know, just like our recording artiste, Corey here, in his earlier days, not started yet, but it's like, yeah, soon. Here's the thing: it's just like him. He was like, he said it earlier. Somebody tried to teach him a way that he didn't make sense to him. Yes, your passion might lead you some places where it doesn't make sense right now, but it's either you're gonna push through and keep on doing it until you you eventually realize it, or you say, you know what, I don't want you to give up on it, because the biggest regret is not is thinking about what was instead of actually going through it and go through the hardships. Because I'd rather go through the hardships knowing that at least I tried, instead of just thinking about the what ifs. I already experienced that before. I don't like it, and it holds you back and it stunts you. So go through that situation, because it's only there to help you grow. And yes, sometimes you might not agree with this way, but guess what? You can still do it on your own. This man came up from nothing. He said that he was working on a little what was it, karaoke box
machine, yeah.
So it's like, yes, and now he worked on a professional level, and gets he's seen the highs and lows of this career. So it's like, there's always room to grow. Your passion will always take you places.
That's
and
right.
especially when you have the talent behind it, it's a blessing, because you'll be able deal with mortgages, deal with kids, deal with relationships, deal with life, isn't it? It's like it will provide for you, because at the end of the day, that's what your passion, when you actually put everything into it, it will do. It will provide for you. So I want to thank you all for listening. And again, we're having a revival week this weekend. When is that? Friday or Thursday?
This Friday.
Yeah, this Friday.
The
This Friday
22nd.
till Sunday.
Yes.
If you want to come out, you could come.
And have a good
Our
time.
our location is 6150 North
West Oakland
you know,
Park
there it is.
Boulevard,
West Oakland Park Boulevard.
Sunrise, Florida,
So
33313.
Amen.
Again, that's our 2019 revival service coming up this Friday. So come on out, invite your friends and everybody. 7:30 p.m. sharp. God
Let
bless
us
you.
have a good time in the Lord.
Well, thanks
Yeah.
again, and we are just a conversation.